This will unlock the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays get yet another spring training win. But what we saw today, specifically from one specific player, not only changes the outlook of the rest of spring training, but the outlook of the Jays going forward, not just this year, but beyond as well. We're going to break that down as well as discuss a few other spring training updates. We had a couple scary injuries in today's game that we're going to go over. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable as we're on the road to 17,000 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. Now, obviously, today's game wasn't televised, but there were still people there, people live tweeting about the game. So I want to break it all down in case you guys missed it. Tons of things to go over today. But one thing in particular is we saw a great game. We also saw a lineup that we've been waiting for a while, and there's a lot of things to dive into. I want to focus on, of course, we'll get to Andres Gimenez. He is the focus of the video, but we can go over the box score a little bit because, again, the game wasn't televised. So in case you guys missed it, there was a bunch of things that happened here. And we saw the 1-2-3 of Bichette, Guerrero, Anthony Santander. And that's kind of the top three of the order that we've been waiting for a while. And it seems like with the amount of times that they're using Bichette in the leadoff spot, that seems to be what John Schneider is looking for as it pertains to the starting lineup. Now, I made a video on it earlier this morning, how at this juncture, John Schneider says he's still figuring it out, but we should know this week. And we're starting to see a bit of a pattern now, specifically regarding Anthony Santander, of course, following Vladdy and then Bichette up there. But Santander, absolutely fantastic tonight, or this afternoon. Finally got his first hit of the spring. He had 3 RBIs. And Andres Gimenez we'll dive into in a little bit. We saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit an absolute rocket. And the reason this game wasn't televised is because it wasn't at Dunedin. A lot of the players actually went out of their way to travel because they wanted to face Tarik Skubal. Keegan Matheson came out and said that this wasn't supposed to be a game filled with regulars, because usually the regulars, you know, Bo, Vladdy, Andres Gimenez, of course, Anthony Santander, the veteran guys, George Springer, don't play and don't travel. They don't want to go on the bus ride, the plane ride, whatever it ends up being. But because Tarik Skubal was playing today, one of the best left-handed pitchers in the game, Cy Young finalist, Cy Young, caliber winner, the Jays wanted to get a look at them. And it kind of goes to show how serious the Jays are this season as it pertains to actually being a good baseball team. But a very solid game from a lot of the guys. Santander, I mean, having Vladdy hit rockets and then Santander drive him in is exactly what the front office envisioned when they went out and signed him. And it's exactly what came to fruition today as they absolutely crushed the opposing team in today's game. But a few other things to go over as well here. Now, again, you see this here, the Blue Jays haven't done much against Tarik Skubal, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just shot a double into the right center gap, complete with a chaotic turnaround first as his helmet spilled off. Santander looped a single into right field to bring Vladdy home. And we're going to be hearing that a lot throughout this season. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets a hit. Anthony Santander drives him in. Santander had over 100 RBIs last season, 42 home runs, 100 plus RBIs. He is the guy who's going to drive in these players. Also, Vladdy is going to do that as well for Bichette, assuming he's hitting after Bo. But it was a fantastic game. But someone I want to focus on today is Andres Gimenez. And he tripled into the right center gap, and his speed was on full display, stretching that out. Really impressive. He hit the ball 107.2 miles per hour. And to see Andres Gimenez, one of the best defensive infielders in the league, arguably the best defensive infielder in the league, hit a ball 107 miles per hour. We've heard it on the broadcast a ton, specifically about Gimenez, how he, Buck Martinez, Dan Shulman, they all spoke to him and what made the last couple of seasons for him a lot worse at the plate than, his really solid MVP caliber year in 2022. And it was just that he lost himself. He was trying to make a bunch of adjustments, trying to hit the ball harder. And now he seems like he's going to go back, and he said he's going to go back to what worked. And he hit a ball 102 miles per hour. You can see Johnny here, who I believe was at the game, saying he was on cycle watch. We were all witnesses, all these different things. I mean, Andres Gimenez, if you were at the game like Johnny was, I'm sure you'd love to watch it. He is a fun baseball player to watch. His defense is elite. He hits the ball. He doesn't hit the ball for power usually. So for him, hitting a ball 107.2 miles per hour is very good in itself. And obviously seeing that is not something we saw over the past couple seasons because he stopped hitting the ball hard. It's just the unfortunate reality of the situation. You look at his advanced analytics. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's the best fielder in baseball. But last season, specifically in 2024, you look at the advanced analytics here according to Savant, and a lot of them were just soft contact. And he didn't barrel the ball. He wasn't hitting it hard. He didn't have very good expected exit velocity, expecting batting average, any of these things. He did underperform his metrics last year a little bit, but you look at the left, and you think back to that 2022 season where he hit 17 home runs, almost a 300 average, and he had a 300 average. I believe it was 302 heading into the last game of the season when he went over. He finished with an 837 OPS, and that's the year where he had a 7.7 or almost an 8 WAR, right? He is the key to unlocking this Toronto Blue Jays team. This is what's going to be separating the Jays team from a fantastic win or a fantastic team to a team that might miss the playoffs is both Santander and Andres Gimenez. And again, you can see here Santander hit a splitter with dislocation, 103 miles per hour for a double to score some runs. So we also saw that earlier in the game. It was just a very encouraging game. But again, it's less about hockey, man. But again, it's less about the game and more so about Andres Gimenez turning into an absolute beast. And he is a beast. His defense is fantastic. And it's a trade that's kind of went under the radar simply because it happened a lot earlier in this, the off season. Now we're, of course, not in the off season anymore. We're in spring training, but it happened a lot earlier. It was one of the first big moves. So, and because he's a defensive first guy, fans tend to, we're used to that now. We have Dalton Varsho and all those different players. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they actually go about handling Andres Gimenez, where he's going to hit in the lineup. We're seeing him hit 6 a lot. His OPS in spring now is above 1,000 because he went 2 for 3 today with 2 RBIs. If his bat, and remember when Ross Atkins made the trade for Andres Gimenez, he came out and said, we see upside in the bat. And if they can find out and work some magic and Dave Popkins can work his magic and tap into some of that untapped potential that David Popkins can hopefully bring out of him, the Jays will be in an extremely, extremely good spot with Andres Gimenez. And this could be a guy that could lead the team in WAR. He's a sneaky candidate to lead the team in WAR. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Also, a couple other things. José Berríos looked fantastic as per usual. He looks great. Ryan Yarbrough looked fantastic. Jeff Hoffman as well looked really good. Another great outing for the pitching staff. Again, you're not going up against all major league players, but if there's someone who really excites me, it's Jeff Hoffman. We know how consistent Berríos will be. I think he's going to be the starting opening night starter. Or opening day starter, I guess. The game's an afternoon game on the 27th of March. But Jeff Hoffman, on the other hand, he struck out the side. He looks electric. He doesn't look like he's dealing with any sort of injury like some of the speculation was when they made the signing. Everything is looking as good as it can be as it pertains to the Jays. And if they can continue to do that, it will unlock not only if the bullpen is good. You have Andres Gimenez. You have so much upside here. I understand the unfortunate reality of not extending Vladdy and maybe not making one more move, but you have pieces that can make this team a playoff caliber team. And it's just a matter of if they're going to go out and do it. And throughout the game, there was some concern about Bichette leaving after 2 at-bats. He was only scheduled for 2, so no injury there. Ernie Clement was walked to the visitors' clubhouse because he had hit in the face and he was bleeding pretty badly, but it's a lip laceration and contusion, so he should also be good. But I want to keep you up to date on that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a wild game. And as you start to look at this Fangraphs chart, and I wanted to bring this up here because it goes and predicts the percentage of time that each of these players are going to be playing in their specific position. And it seems like it has Santander playing and starting 50% of the games in left field, Dalton Varsho 81% of the games in center, George Springer 62% of the games in right. So to get a kind of an interesting view as to what the analytics are saying, they have Will Wagner and Anthony Santander basically splitting DH evenly, and they also have Relvis Martinez playing 23% of the games at third. So that's something to keep an eye on, especially as you start to look at some of the prospects and how they're going to do, because at the end of the day, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what this team is capable of, and ultimately, it's going to be exciting to see. Also, one other note, it has Miles Straw getting more playing time than Joey Loperfido in center field, which is also interesting because Miles Straw, I know it doesn't show it here, he hit another home run today. His OPS, I think it's about 1,500, something crazy. It's about 1,000 in spring. He is making a case to break camp with the Jays. But I'll wrap it up. Let me know what your thoughts are.